In the earlier years of Nickelodeon's history, there was a lot of focus on Nicktoons, a bunch of cartoon characters that shared the same universe. They would appear in anything you can think of, which only makes sense that eventually the jump would be made into a theme park attraction. In December 2001, Jimmy Neutron the Boy Genius was introduced to the world in the form of a theatrical movie. It ended up being a massive success and led to a TV series, which is probably why Nickelodeon decided to center this Nicktoons ride all around him. Less than 2 full years later, in April 2003, Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoons Blast opens to the public at Universal Studios. In order to bring in the most amount of people possible, each character on the building would be some of the most recognizable in Nicktoons history. Of course, featuring SpongeBob. I mean, he's literally everywhere. While waiting in line, the iconic Sponge goes over some of the rules you should follow, which is represented by clips from the show.
We ask that you refrain from the following activities. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy your...
With simulator rides like these, there's almost always a pre-show to basically let people know what's happening. It's the ideal way to get the story going, while also including any special instructions to make the experience as good as it can be. Here we have Jimmy talking directly to the audience, breaking the fourth wall more than a few times as he talks about being in Universal Studios. Along with Carl, he's happy to introduce us to a new rocket part, but just when everything seems like it'll go his way, an alien from the first movie crashes the studio and steals Jimmy's rocket part. This is what leads to Jimmy and Carl chasing after the alien, and we, the riders, get to follow them in their incredible adventure. After watching this short pre-show, the fun is finally here. Riders would be instructed to walk in the main room, sit down, and just get ready. This simulation is actually pretty awesome. You get to follow Jimmy flying through Nick Studios, watching iconic characters both old and new. Yeah, I know, the quality makes it a bit hard to see all the cool little details, but this Nicktoons ride managed to pack in quite a few Easter eggs. Even though many of the cartoons already had their runs, you would still see Nickelodeon characters from the 90s. The ride didn't just go through the studios though, because certain cartoons had the special treatment of getting more screen time. For example, you get to see the world of Rugrats up close, despite it passing by a little too fast. Jimmy eventually gets back his part from the aliens, then heads through the world everyone's been waiting for, Bikini Bottom. What's cool is that SpongeBob joins the adventure for a little as he grabs onto the rocket ship and greets his various friends around town. After experiencing what it's like to be underwater, Jimmy gets back to the lab, defeats the alien, and the day is saved. Let's go! This journey would be over, but that didn't mean the fun had to end. There were a few little interactive Nickelodeon games and extras you'd be able to walk through. It may not be anything super memorable, but I guess these helped in getting people familiar with Nick properties if they didn't know too much. Anyway, there was nothing too incredible or groundbreaking about Nicktoons Blast in terms of simulation rides, but the very fact that it included characters from the Nickelodeon universe was amazing. Watching the footage now may not be as exciting, but during the simulation, it felt like you were living inside some of the most iconic Nick worlds for a few minutes. The concept of the ride was also cool because it further established that all the characters knew each other, which is something that isn't addressed nearly as much on the network today. Even though the ride was a fun time for 90s and early 2000s Nick fans alike, this couldn't last forever. Jimmy Neutron's final episode aired in 2006, and many of the cartoons were less and less familiar to the new generation of kids. In August 2011, the ride shut down, which meant it lasted around 8 full years. That's not a bad run at all, but what is terrible is the ride that replaced it. Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. Out of all the things, why did it have to be Minions? But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.